think he did great for 3 years, but when he turned the country over to Fauci in March of 2020, that destroyed millions of people's lives. And in Florida, we were one of the few that stood up, cut against the grain, took incoming fire from media, bureaucracy, the left, even a lot of Republicans.
Okay, so he turned the country over to Fauci, which is about as big of fighting words as if he had said Biden won in 2020, because that would be acknowledging reality. The other would be acknowledging that Trump technically had someone working for him who didn't want everyone to die. That Fauci didn't necessarily get everything he wanted or whatever, but he thought it was better if someone didn't die from COVID than did, and that is unacceptable, and so Trump should be attacked. Now, DeSantis ignores the fact that despite the country being turned over to Fauci, 1.1 million people died of COVID. By the way, Florida did really bad. Depending on which numbers you look at, the Miami Herald says they ranked 45th out of 50 states for vaccinations. They had the 12th highest rate of cases and deaths of COVID among the 50 states and Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico. So they lost 87,000 people as of a month ago. One of them a member of my family. 87,000 Floridians who died, but don't worry, Ron DeSantis now gets to say that he stood up to the liberal media or whatever. He didn't stand up to Big Funeral, I guess, which stood to gain a lot if he ignored the pandemic. But anyway, he's saying you could trust me more on stuff like this. And obviously the COVID lockdowns is a stand-in for just, do you support big government or not? While of course they also believe that government should be able to take your kids away if you're giving them gender affirming care or something. So it's obviously a mixed bag in terms of the politics of it, Brett. But what do you think about this as an attack on Trump?
So first of all, it's a lie. The guy locked his state down. April 1st, he ordered a lockdown order 2020. He did comply with Fauci. He handed the keys over to Fauci. And then any wins he won that he's trying to claim for keeping the state, quote, open, that doesn't really bear out in the facts because a lot of the cities decided that they were gonna issue lockdown orders themselves. So it's an absolute lie. And then also, a lot of the states that had like non-social distancing orders, people could sit outside because the weather's nice. Like he talked crap about New York. Well, it was freezing and everybody would have to be in the same room together and people didn't know what was going on. And then you had a governor, and Donald Trump himself has kind of even sided with Cuomo and just doing a better job. And what does he point to? Statistics. And then Donald Trump, I mean, the people who follow Donald Trump don't think that Donald Trump, quote, handed everything over to Fauci. They think that Donald Trump protected everybody against the Fauci ouchie and won that battle somehow. Why? Because they don't really think these things through. I mean, that's gonna be the job of DeSantis in running for president, is he's gonna have to systematically try to dismantle people's love of Trump, but no one's been able to succeed in that. I think in order to succeed, you have to be charismatic. And the one thing that Ron DeSantis is not is charismatic. He's a dopey little my buddy doll that you just wanna grab by the hand and slam against the ground as hard as you can because his face never changes because he's not like this.
The doll, not the human. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah.
And by the way, like he is coming out swinging a little bit. I just saw an article that was like he's attacking Trump like never before, which I guess is true, kind of. But he also announced in the last day that he'll consider pardoning Trump if elected for, I guess, everything, anything, whatever, all of the crimes. So I don't know, is that supposed to appeal to Trump or to the Trump base? I guess it's designed to. I don't know that Trump is gonna love DeSantis saying, don't worry, buddy. Once I defeat you in my quest to become president, I'll save you from going to the slammer. Maybe that makes him feel better. But anyway, I also saw there's a new scandal that's in the news, and we're gonna look up the details of that as more develops. I saw he followed up his Twitter Spaces launch on Twitter by signing a bill that would exempt spaceflight explosion liability. So if Elon Musk's rockets explode and kill people, or like come crashing down and kill people or whatever, he'll be protected from liability. Maybe that's just a normal thing that you should have. It seems sort of weird that it's signed so close to him teaming up with Elon Musk for Twitter. He signed the bill, of course, that lets him run for president and stay governor, and his flights are going to be protected from disclosure. Donors visiting his house are going to be protected from disclosure. Like, this guy is supposed to be a less personality-based tin pot authoritarian than Trump, but I don't know, in terms of his personal relationships, his payback to donors and supporters, the way that he uses the legislature to personally benefit just him, I don't know. I think he gives Trump a run for his money. Any final thoughts?
Well, he doesn't have as much money as Trump, but he's going to try to get it from billionaires. And that's literally his strategy for fundraising is billionaire money. He's going on Twitter and appealing to Silicon Valley billionaires who and try to get cash. And that's why he went to and he wants, if there's any value left in anyone's crypto, he wants the crypto bros to give him dark money, and he wants to get dark money from super PACs. That's literally his approach, because he's not actually a populist. He's absolutely 100% like he is the deep state that they're afraid of. He's the person pretending to support the MAGA folks with the sole purpose of destroying Donald Trump. Like that's what he's doing right now. So he is their biggest fears exposed. And if I'm a Republican who cares about all the things that Donald Trump pretends to care about, I'm kind of nervous, because in trying to go on Twitter, Twitter has appeased the censorship requests reportedly of like 85% of the requests that they've been given to censor by giant governments. And so, Elon Musk further exposed himself as just doing an act with Ron DeSantis, who's just doing an act. So they can get in there and make your life more dangerous so that you can get killed by giant corporations who don't care about you and never did.
Yeah. Still though, Twitter is the home of free speech, because you're allowed to tweet the N-word a bunch, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's
what the founding
really
fathers had in mind.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.